All right, the camera is not attached to the laptop, so I have to look at the camera when I'm talking to the camera. I look at the laptop when I'm looking at the laptop. So I look at you and talk to you. What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a, I don't know, not dive, but a splash into some older writing of mine. Um, so yeah, I just thought it'd be cool to review some writing I used to do, and uh, yeah, it's looking at the version history here. I wrote this in April of 2021, so about 3 years ago. And yeah, I just want to read through it with you and see how it holds up and if my thoughts have changed at all. I think it's interesting to record things, document yourself, and review it in the future, see where you've been, see where you're going, and how those things line up. So, this is going to be me doing a read through of a little piece I did in April of 2021 that no one saw. So the title, I guess, thesis is validating and or taking down celebrities. So I'm just going to read through, and then if I have any cool thoughts, I'll say them. This is David West, April 2021. I would have been 18 years old, um, a month away from 19. Lately, I have become obsessed with fame, happiness, and fulfillment, whatever that is. I have some running theories, potentially interesting thought experiments, and half baked ideas that I want to try here. Roman numeral 1 on fame. So, my main point here is that we all, to some degree, believe in and value our Western and or developed world. I really like parentheses and slashes for a long time. I haven't written in a bit, but this is all going to be very like over punctuated. So my main point here is that we all to some degree believe in and value our Western and or developed world current metrics to decide who is famous, who deserves fame, and who we sell our attention to. To start, I think it is easy to denounce fame or appear separated from that world by saying, oh, they're just people like the rest of us, or any other probably overused phrase that attempts to bridge the gap between us and them. I say and think things like this all the time, but I'm coming to a startling realization. The need to say or justify that we are equal to them is a validation in and of itself that we are separated and live in a different reality. So this is, I think, actually an interesting thought, and I don't really recall. I mean, I recall writing this, obviously, and I know I did write it, but that is a thought I haven't really revisited since, and I think is a good one, which is that the very fact that we're saying, like, oh, these people are just like us, famous people, they're people just like us, you're still saying they and us. So there's an us and the them that's a given in that statement. Going further, I want these things to be true, that celebrities are normal people and that we are all equal. But I would still freak out, get a selfie, brag to my friends if I saw Jimmy Fallon. Why Jimmy Fallon? I mean, he's cool. I don't know why I wrote that. I guess just like the ubiquitous famous person. Insert famous person here walking down my street. I want to believe that we are all, italics, just people. And the famous ones, like Gladwell says, this is Malcolm Gladwell, big Malcolm Gladwell fan, 18, 19-year-old David West. Um, I still am, but just, I pretty much I mean, I haven't read all his books, but all the ones I did read were when I was 18, 19. I still have a few that I haven't fully finished yet, which I'd like to. Anyway, I want to believe that we are all, italics, just people, and the famous ones, like Gladwell says, were a combination of talented, prepared, and lucky. So this is referencing Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and I can already see I got to the 10,000 hour rule in a few lines, so I'll just keep reading. And to some degree, I believe that. Here's my main dilemma, perhaps one that critics of Outliers would have pointed out. No one outside of the realm of fame is going to be able to get this point across to a large enough audience for it to have any influence on the social status quo. So my point here is really the whole point of the fucking essay, I think, because this is just something I was obsessed with for a long time, which is just the idea that everybody hates the famous person who's like, I'm just like you, and believe in yourself, and just shoot your shot and maybe someone will see it. But you never it's basically confirmation bias because you would never hear that from that person if they themselves weren't already famous. So the question I sort of dig into here, I think, and I'll keep reading so that I don't, step on the toes of my former self. I think is just that the point I'm getting at is that is it like do these people believe these things before they had a platform and before I would have been able to hear it, or are they just now saying it because they know it is possible? So I don't know. It's sort of cyclical. Um, Allow me to elaborate. If by some Gladwellian 10,000 hour rule and or sheer luck, lots of people read this piece. Again, I have trouble leaving that part in because acknowledging it is necessary to have an audience to make a point validates the social hierarchy. So here I'm wrestling with something that I always wrestle with and have for a while, which is making art for yourself versus just making art for other people. And does its value to me change if a lot of people see it or anyone or no one sees it? Um, so I left it in, but no one has read this and I never released it. I guess until now, if I even release this video. That's the thing is like I'm recording this. I don't even know if this will come out. I'm just making it to see how it feels. Um, anyway, allow me to elaborate. If by some Gladwellian 10,000 hour rule and or sheer luck, lots of people read this piece. Again, I have trouble leaving that part in because acknowledging it is necessary to have an audience to make a point, validates the social hierarchy. Wow. So if the piece successfully conveys the point, the celebrity is nothing much to give value to, and we're all just people, but requires some level of virality. I'd probably use relevance or a different word here nowadays. To be successful, have I not broken my own rule? It's a funny little paradox and one that I can't quite decide where I stand on it. So this is I'm about to get in the anecdote that I think really kicked me off on this thought process. So I'll just read it. So when Jim Carrey is called a hypocrite for denouncing Hollywood culture, elitism, etc., it's a lost argument from the get-go. People can say, oh, easy for him to say, he's benefited from all of this, and that is true. But it is also true, again, is the layperson will never hear this opinion from someone who doesn't already have a platform or some sort of audience to project to. It can be seen as disingenuous, or, I think maybe this should be italicized. It can be seen as the only genuine way to hear the contrarian thoughts on fame. So this is, I don't know, I probably can't find the exact clip, but it's something where Jim Carrey's like, oh, all this has no meaning, you know? Um, we're all just dressed up. It's Hollywood. We're famous people talking to famous people. That's not verbatim. That's the general idea, though. Um, so past David is digging into this, like, oh, easy for him to say he's benefiting from the fame. So of course he can say, oh, none of this means anything. Which is the first argument I have here, the first opinion, I guess, that I option to the reader. And then I give him the other option, which I guess is the nuanced part, is, well, you would only ever know that's his real opinion if he had already experienced it, you know? So yeah, easy for him to say, but also easy for you to say because you've never been famous and you only see the good parts of it. I'll have trouble summarizing this without thinking of another tangent or argument. Yes, you will. And again, I feel the need to excuse my youth or inexperience in thinking and writing because society sees this as anti-fame. There's an idea that all the famous and rich people in the world worked really hard, and anyone who isn't rich or famous hasn't worked hard enough. I know a good percentage of people will disagree with that. Yeah, but I think it is the majority, parentheses, at least in America, belief that hard work unequivocally creates wealth and or fame. I don't know if that's the majority belief, but it is the zeitgeist and the literal American dream that's been here forever. Whether you like it or not, and whether we all know it's bullshit or not, there is this aura in America that, like it says, if you work hard and you want wealth or fame, you can get it, whichever the hard worker desires. So anyone not, quote, grinding won't be famous. We are almost all bought into the meritocracy to some degree. The dilemma strikes me in this way, that to be successful, which of course means make more money than I spend, haha, good one, David, you're getting at the heart of the capitalism, buddy. The dilemma strikes me in this way, that to be successful, which of course means make more money than I spend at the things I enjoy, whether it be writing, making videos, etc., I need an audience. And something in me has to believe my voice is worthy or deserves to be heard. So I can denounce fame and status all I like, but in the act of my creativity, there is this part of me that begs the world to listen and see and hear and believe me. Part of me needs and seeks for an audience so I can tell them just how much they don't need or shouldn't value individuals just because they have an audience. It's backwards and twisted as most ideas can end up being. So this is something I wanted to, I don't know what it is in me, but I love preaching to people, at least my personal life, which is just like, and it's one of the when January rolled around this year, I made a bunch of resolutions. I had 100 video ideas that I was going to make, and they all sort of center around this idea of making art for yourself, creating, believing in yourself, and just sort of doing it with or without an audience. And I don't know, it's sort of sad because on some level I failed myself because as I'm reading this back, as I look at those notes from January this year, which is now it's like 5 months have rolled by, um, it's not that I failed myself. It's just that part of me still doesn't believe it because I'm not making and releasing things. So yeah, it's backwards and twisted. Roman numeral 2 on happiness. I'm recently enamored with the philosophy and idea that one only does what they want. Still kind of am. Still don't know how I feel about it completely. But in general, you only do what you want. It's in a more stoic way than just like everything's good. It's more like you control yourself. Outside factors do happen. You can't control them, but you do what you want based on the environment you're put into. There are key things to understand to believe this, I think. The main one being cause and effect. If always linked, must be considered as one action in this thinking. For example, I say you only do what you want. You say you don't want to go to work, but you still do. So my conclusion is I say you want the end result of going to work, which is making money. So of course you want to go to work. The result and action of going to work are one event. You make a cost benefit analysis in your head every day and italicize grind at work. Yeah, nice one, buddy. I almost stopped believing this when I broke my foot on vacation recently. I am asked if I wanted to break my foot. No, of course not, but I wanted to try to skimboard. So I broke my foot skimboarding in North Carolina. I slid off the board. My foot, basically, imagine this hand is my foot. It bent and the toes touched the top of my foot, and I fractured 4 metatarsals 3 years ago. So of course I didn't want to break my foot, but I wanted to try to skimboard, even knowing the risks and saying beforehand, I feel like I'm going to hurt something bad and not be able to run. I was training for a race at this point. I forget which one, but I'm always training for a race or like to be. T-Rex 10 mile in July. Let's go. So I took that into account, made a cost benefit analysis, and decided I do want to skimboard, whatever the end result may be. This obviously comes with some caveats, think violence from others, etc. But I think it just needs to be considered that you can get struck by lightning and die any day. Memento mori. So anomalies happen. I think the main benefit of believing you only do what you want puts you in a position to feel control over your life and probably be happier overall. Why in the world would I do something that makes me unhappy? Yeah, I mean, just reading this is sort of interesting. I think recently in my life I've been wrestling with all this sort of stuff. Ari, selling Lego, working to make money, doing things just to do them versus doing things just to make money. And it's hard because I do like Bricklink, but it's not like making my soul sing every day. And I don't know if there's anything that does that because at some point work is going to be work. But in the beginning, when I was growing something and it felt organic, and like I'm throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what's sticking. Something stuck, but I don't know if it's stuck too long and it's time to scrape it off and throw something else at the wall. So connecting to the last section, I think fame is obviously, but not definitely linked to happiness. And I think modern day, oh sorry, obviously not. What? That is horrible verbiage. I think I can just cut out the obviously not. I think fame is obviously not definitely. Just put not. I think fame is not linked to happiness, and I think modern day metrics of fame, like followers, subscribers, are designed to make one unhappy. Think Silicon Valley CEOs not letting their kids have smartphones, etc. We do too much keeping up with the Joneses, and it ultimately makes us miserable constantly. I mentioned this to Angelis yesterday, and it still eats at me, which is that I feel this creative desire to make videos or content, whatever that fucking means now. But I also hate scrolling and I hate wasting time. And I have a moral qualm contributing to that sphere, I guess, when it's something that I think is not necessarily a net negative, but it's definitely not a net positive for humanity. Um, So yeah, we do too much keeping up with the Joneses, and it ultimately makes us miserable, constantly comparing ourselves. We've all heard the argument that social media is great for connecting with family and friends to stay updated, and to some degree that may be true. But I feel like everybody knows in some way that the beast of social media is much more than that now. Yeah, and then every year it gets more true. It's just like I don't even I don't even have social media accounts in the traditional sense, but I still abuse like YouTube Shorts. And it's such a perverted thing than it used to be. Like you used to go online for social media to see pictures of your friends and stuff. Now I feel like even just casually glancing over shoulders of people I know who have Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all that, I feel like you don't even see that much of people you know, and you always get sucked into short form content. Roman numeral 3, synthesizing the former 2 points. I believe I am as happy as I will ever be, and that I accept what comes in, day out, and maintain a consistent level of joy slash contentment. We often hear society lead us away from contentment. Don't let your life get stagnant. And there's something to be said about always reaching. But I think, honestly, the greatest life skill anyone can develop is contentness. If you're able to get through the day, week, etc., and still say, well, I'm okay. I feel like you're set. I did the fucking wrong your. I did the possessive. Oops. Bad punctuation. So I like my writing. Oh, I like writing. No, narcissist coming out. I do like this piece. It's all right. So I like writing, and I think that I have some adjacently noteworthy thoughts being written. See, that alone is just, it's so hard for me to not think I'm pretentious. But those are, like, these aren't, I don't know how to explain it. It's like these aren't words I'm poring over and like, how do I make this sound smart? It's just words that come out when I write it. So I don't know what it is. If it's like in that moment of creating, I just want it to sound good. So I say I have some adjacently noteworthy thoughts being written. My problem comes from the fact that every writer or creator has to be a sick narcissist somewhere deep inside of them to yell to the world that what they are doing slash creating deserves to be seen or heard by the ton. My dad actually told me not to use that word. He's seen this piece. Um, he said, don't use the ton because people don't know what that means. So I guess I'll do this. What they are doing creative deserves to be seen and heard by the masses. I do not aspire to be famous. I don't even know if that's true. Maybe being famous is cool. I'd give it a shot. But I do want to write things that many people, I think, change this to create, and it's the exact way I still feel now. Like writing is still fun, and I love writing, but really filming things, capturing videos has been really fun lately. Singing, songwriting, all that. I do want to write things that many people could find interesting and enjoy. I don't beg for an audience watching my goals come to fruition, but the audience's presence is the very fulfillment of the goal. So if you're watching this, I guess the goal is fulfilled in some sense. If you're taking this in, then I've put something out that's being engaged with by an audience, and I guess in this piece, that's all I want. Though I haven't released it for 3 years, like I said. I don't beg for an audience watching my goals come to fruition, but the audience's very presence is the very fulfillment of the goal. I think ultimately I become okay with the idea that being a writer, even if to no audience, is the best part of the experience. The sort of Q&A that goes on between my hands and my consciousness, whatever that may be. So here are my two fears, and this is my favorite part of the whole writing. Making something amazing that nobody sees, or making something awful that lots of people see. It's a paralyzing place to be, and I think most people have felt inspired and then instantly felt that either of the two aforementioned things were foregone conclusions. So this is something, again, I've struggled with for a long time, which is the paralysis in creativity and specifically releasing creations to the public and for consumption. Because again, I'm not going to market this video if this were to be a video that got released on my YouTube channel. It's just something that I want to talk about and I think is semi-engaging. So if there's anyone out there who feels this way, I'd like to put it out just in case they might see it. But yeah, this is, I fall into this all the time. My two fears, making something amazing that nobody sees or making something awful that lots of people see. So is this awful and it's going to go viral? I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's amazing. I also don't know, but I do kind of think that nobody will see it. So I don't know where I land on it, you know. This piece or essay or whatever it wants to be called is mainly a stream of consciousness and shouldn't be anything more. I find it so funny. Oh, battery saver's on, nice. I find it so funny my need to justify bad writing in my own thoughts while also pointing out my need to do so. I also now feel as if I need to justify the justification, etc. So yeah, classic David West ending here where I'm talking about my writing and talking about my writing and talking about my writing. Um, so yeah, version history today. Looks like I edited a little bit a year ago. And then yeah, just 19 years old, 10:28 a.m. I thought I would tell the world how I feel about celebrity and fame and creating things. And so yeah, I would say I mainly agree with this still. Um, and it's weird. And I do want to make things that are engaging. And I don't want people to consume content for no other reasons than to placate their dopamine levels that have been fucked. Um, that's not what I want this to be. That's not what I want creation in general to be. But there is that side of it. You know, there are people who only make videos for financial gain, or there are people who only make videos to continue an image that they've made. I don't know, and that's not me. Obviously, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not famous, so it's not easy for me to say how it is to be famous or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Um, Let me know if this piece resonated with you. Let me know if you're watching this video. Um, yeah, I just really want to start throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because there's something in me that wants to make videos. So yeah. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, like, subscribe. I'm David West. I uh, I make stuff sometimes. Yeah.